All right, let's dive in. We're talking about analytical writing today, and I know what you're probably thinking. School papers, long nights in the library, but we're going to look at it as something so much bigger. Think of it as a tool, a lens for looking critically at, well, everything. It's the skill that separates just watching the world go by from actually understanding it. So let's break down how you can get really good at it.
So think about this for a second. What's the one thing that connects a lawyer delivering a knockout closing argument, a scientist revealing a huge discovery, and an entrepreneur convincing investors to give them millions? It's not just about being smart. It's a very specific, very powerful way of thinking.
And that skill is analysis. We're drowning in information these days, right? Well, being able to analyze is like your personal navigation system. It's what helps you slice through all that noise and get to what's real and what actually matters.
First things first, analysis forces you to go way beyond just memorizing stuff. I mean, anybody can remember the plot of Shakespeare's Hamlet, right? But a real analyst asks, why? Why does he hesitate? They start digging into the psychology, the philosophy, the whole context. And that is the huge difference between just knowing a fact and actually understanding it. It also teaches you how to build arguments that are basically bulletproof. When you analyze, you learn to back up everything you say with solid proof, making your logic crystal clear. And this isn't about winning arguments at the dinner table. It's about being persuasive, in a way that people respect, your boss, your clients, anyone. And maybe the most important thing of all, it helps you think for yourself. Instead of just nodding along and accepting what you're told, you start to build the tools to form your own opinions, based on real thinking. You own your interpretations. That makes you a leader, not just a follower. So when you put it all together, you can really see the big picture. This isn't just a list of random perks. Analysis is a single, powerful skill that completely changes how you learn, how you solve problems, and how you communicate. It really is the engine for success in your career and, honestly, in your life. Okay, but what does analyzing something actually look like? Let's open up the toolkit. Think of a great analyst as a great detective. You gotta have the right tools to examine the evidence and a clear process to follow the clues to the truth. At its heart, this is what we're doing. Analytical writing is an active process. You're not just describing a thing. You're taking it apart piece by piece to figure out how it works. You investigate, you evaluate, and then you build something totally new, your own solid, well-reasoned argument. And every really powerful analysis follows this exact same path. It all starts with purpose. You have to know why you're even doing this. Then you think about your audience and you craft a sharp, clear thesis. That's your main point. And then the real detective work starts. You gather your evidence, you connect the dots with clear reasoning, and you put it all together in a compelling structure. This isn't just a boring checklist, it's your roadmap.
And that thesis, that's where the magic really happens. Just look at the difference here. This paper will describe the Civil War. Okay, fine, that's a report. It's passive. But saying the war was less about states' rights than about competing economic systems? Whoa. Now that is an argument. It takes a stand. It gives your entire analysis a mission.
And believe me, this isn't just for school. This framework is used every single day by the people who are actually shaping our world. So let's take a look at analysis out in the wild, from some of history's sharpest writers to today's top leaders. Take this absolutely brutal takedown from George Orwell. It's so sharp, it's so critical, it almost feels like just an angry opinion, right? But it's not. This is the end result of a deep, careful analysis of how language is used as a weapon. See, Orwell didn't just say, "Ugh, I hate political jargon." He put it under a microscope. He showed exactly how vague words and fuzzy phrases were being used as tools to manipulate people and to hide ugly truths. That's the difference between having an opinion and doing an analysis. And you see this method everywhere once you start looking. You see it in James Baldwin, who took apart social structures to show everyone the machinery of racism. You see it in Charles Darwin, who analyzed countless bits of evidence from nature to build the theory of evolution. And in Ida B. Wells, who analyzed data on lynchings to prove it was a weapon of terror, not some kind of justice. Every single one of them used analysis to reveal a truth that was hiding in plain sight. This skill is the foundation of so many important careers today. A lawyer analyzes old cases, a doctor analyzes symptoms, a manager analyzes market data. But it's also the policy analyst weighing all the evidence, and the journalist trying to make sense of a complicated event. In every single one of these jobs, the core skill is exactly the same: structured, evidence-based thinking. Okay, so you're probably thinking, this is great, but how do I actually get better at this? Perfect. Let's get practical. Let's talk about a personal training plan for your analytical mind. This really just comes down to building good habits. First, get curious. Make why and how your favorite questions. Train your brain to notice the little details everyone else scrolls right past. When you read something great, don't just enjoy it, take it apart. See how the author built their argument. And learn to love rewriting, because your best ideas almost never show up in the first draft. And finally, find people who will challenge your thinking. That's how you get stronger.
So let's zoom out and bring it all home. If you think of our world as this huge, complicated, messy place, well, analytical thinking is your compass.
Because this was never just about writing a better essay. It's a fundamental skill for being an engaged citizen, an effective leader, really for just navigating modern life with a bit more clarity and confidence.
And that brings us to what I think is the most important distinction of our time. In a world totally soaked in information, being able to repeat that information is basically worthless. The real value, the real power, is in the ability to analyze it. And that, right there, is what separates the passive consumers from the citizens and leaders who actually shape the world.
So I'll leave you with this one final thought. The very next time a big idea, a shocking news story, or a new plan comes across your feed, what are you going to do? Are you just going to accept it and pass it on? Or are you going to stop, take a breath, and actually analyze it? The choice is always yours.